The burning ship fell through the orange clouds like a broken bird. Captain Hyojin gripped his command chair as alarms screamed through the bridge of the stellar dawn. The research vessel spun wildly, its engines dead and silent. "Captain!" shouted Navigator Somin from her station. Her purple skin had turned pale with fear. "The planet below. It's a Class X death world. We cannot land there." "We have no choice," Hyojin said through clenched teeth. His people, the Valerians, were known for their smart minds and peaceful ways. But they were not built for crashing on deadly planets. Their thin bones and weak muscles would break easily on any rough landing. Engineer Byung-soo worked fast at his controls, sweat dripping from his large head. "I can try to slow us down, but the planet's magnetic field is messing with our systems. Nothing is working right." The ship broke through the last layer of clouds. Below them stretched an empty wasteland of red rocks and smoking craters. Twisted metal forests stood like dead trees under a burning yellow sky. This was Crexus 7, a planet that killed anything that tried to live on it. "Brace for impact," Hyojin yelled. The stellar dawn hit the ground with a sound like breaking thunder. Metal screamed as the ship slid across sharp rocks for half a mile before stopping. Smoke filled the bridge. Sparks flew from broken machines. Hyojin slowly opened his eyes. Blood trickled from a cut on his forehead. "Report," he croaked. "Life support is failing," Byung-soo said, his voice shaking. "Main engines are gone. The hull has many holes. We're breathing poison air from outside." So-min coughed as she checked her screens. "Captain, I'm getting a strange reading. There's another ship nearby. It crashed here too, but older. Maybe 3 weeks ago." "Another ship?" Hyojin stood, on shaky legs. "What kind?" "Human design," So-min said, surprise clear in her voice. The word human made everyone go quiet. Humans were legendary fighters in the galaxy. Stories said they came from a death world and thrived where other species died, but those were just stories, weren't they? "Send out a distress signal," Hyojin ordered. "Maybe someone will hear us." Byung-soo shook his head. "The planet blocks all signals. No one can hear us from space." Hours passed. The ship grew colder as the heating failed. Outside, they could hear strange howling sounds, the calls of creatures hunting in the dark. The Valerian crew huddled together trying to stay warm. Then they heard something else, footsteps on the ship's broken hull, heavy, steady footsteps. "What was that?" whispered So-min. The footsteps stopped right above them. Something tapped on. The metal tap, tap, tap like someone knocking on a door. Suddenly, the metal above them exploded inward with a loud clang. A figure dropped through the hole, landing on both feet in a crouch. The Valerians screamed and scrambled backward. The figure stood up slowly. It was wearing strange armor made from metal and animal hides. A helmet covered its face. In its hands was a weapon that looked like it was built from spare parts and scrap metal. "Stay back!" Hyojin shouted, raising his small blaster. But his hands shook so much he could barely hold it. The armored figure tilted its head. Then it reached up and pulled off its helmet. The face underneath was like nothing the Valerians had seen before. Pale skin covered strong bones. Light brown hair stuck out in all directions. 2 eyes the color of earth stared at them without fear. Scars marked the stranger's face like old battle stories. This was a human. "You're alive," the human said. The voice was rough and deep. "Didn't think anyone could survive that crash." So-min found her voice first. You're human. How are you still alive? This planet should have killed you in hours." The human looked confused for a moment. Then they laughed. A short, harsh sound. "Kill me? This place, I've seen worse." The human looked around the broken ship. "Your life support is failing. You've got maybe 6 hours before the air turns bad. And tonight, the temperature drops to -50. You'll freeze to death." "Can you help us?" Hyojin asked. He had heard stories about human warriors, but he had never believed them. Now looking at the scarred survivor, he began to understand. The human studied them with smart, calculating eyes. "Maybe. What's your name?" "Captain Hyojin of the research vessel Stellar Dawn." I'm Jin Woo. I was supposed to deliver supplies to a mining station. My ship got hit by an electromagnetic storm 3 weeks ago. Jin Woo gestured outside. I've been living out there since then. 3 weeks? Beom-su stared in shock. On this death world? Alone? Jin Woo shrugged like it was no big deal. You adapt or you die. Simple rule. Another howl echoed outside, closer this time. Jin Woo's head snapped toward the sound. In one smooth motion, they grabbed their weapon and moved to the hole in the ceiling. What are those sounds? So-min asked, fear making her voice small. Bone crushers, Jin Woo said without looking back. They hunt in packs. They smell your blood now. We need to move. Move where? Hyojin stood up. His legs felt weak and useless. Compared to the human's strong movements, I've got a place. It's safe. Well, safer than here. Jin Woo looked back at them. But I'm not doing this for free. You want to live? You help me get off this rock when your people come looking for you. Hyojin thought quickly. His crew was dying. They had no experience with death worlds. This human had survived alone for weeks in conditions that would kill a Valyrian in hours. Agreed, he said. Good. Jin Woo jumped back up through the hole, with impossible ease. A moment later, a rope dropped down. Grab what you can carry, food, water, medical supplies, leave everything else. As the Valyrians gathered their supplies, they heard Jin Woo moving around above them. Heavy things were being dragged across the hull. When they climbed out, they saw Jin Woo had taken apart pieces of the ship and made a sledge. For your wounded, they explained, seeing their confused looks. So-min had hurt her leg in the crash. She limped badly as she tried to walk. Without asking, Jin Woo picked her up and placed her on the sledge like she weighed nothing. The strength surprised them all. Humans looked similar to Valyrians in some ways, but where their bones were thin and hollow, human bones were thick and strong. Where their muscles were small and weak, human muscles were large and powerful. Follow me, Jin Woo said, taking the sledge rope. Stay close. Don't wander off, and try to be quiet. They started walking across the burning rocks. The twin suns, above them, blazed like red eyes. In the distance, mountains of glass caught the light and threw it back like broken rainbows. As they walked, Beom-su asked, Jin Woo, how do you know where to go? The human pointed ahead without slowing down. See those 3 rocks that look like fingers? There's a cave behind them. It has fresh water and a narrow entrance I can defend. You've explored this area? Hyojin was amazed. In just 3 weeks? Exploration means survival, Jin Woo said simply. I know every rock, every hole, every creature within 10 miles. You have to, or you die. They walked for 2 hours. The Valyrians had to stop many times to rest and drink water. Their thin bodies were not made for long walks on rough ground. Jin Woo waited patiently each time, never complaining. Near the cave, Jin Woo suddenly raised a hand. Everyone stopped. What is it? Whispered Hyojin. Jin Woo sniffed the air. Then they smiled, not a happy smile, but the smile of a hunter who had found prey. We're being followed, they said quietly. 3 bone crushers. They've been tracking us for the last mile. The Valyrians looked around in fear, seeing nothing but rocks and shadows. What do we do? So-min asked from the sledge. Jin Woo checked their weapon and pulled out a long knife from their belt. You get in the cave. I'll handle them. You can't fight 3 of those things alone, protested Beom-su. Jin Woo looked at him with those earth-colored eyes. For a moment, Beom-su saw something there, not anger or fear, but excitement, like Jin Woo was looking forward to the fight. Watch me, Jin Woo said. They pushed the sledge toward the cave. Go. Now. Don't come out until I call for you. The Valyrians ran as fast as they could. Behind them, they heard a roar like breaking stone. Then the sound of weapons firing. Then screams, but not human screams. Inside the cave, they huddled together and listened to the battle outside. It lasted only 10 minutes. Then everything went quiet. Jin Woo? Hyojin called softly. It's over, came the reply. You can come out. They left the cave slowly. Jin Woo stood near three large, dead creatures. Each one was twice the size of a Valerian, with thick armor plates and huge claws. Their green blood covered the rocks. Jin Woo had cuts on their arms and face, but they were still standing. Still strong. How? Byung-soo stared at the dead monsters. They're not smart, Jin Woo explained, wiping their knife clean. They charge straight at you. Easy to dodge if you know how. So-min spoke the words they were all thinking. You really are everything, the stories say. Humans are warriors. Jin Woo looked surprised. Warriors? We're just survivors. You do what you must to live another day. As they settled into the cave, for the night, the Valerians watched Jin Woo work. The human built a fire using stones and metal from their ship. They skinned one of the dead creatures and cooked the meat. They checked the cave's walls for cracks and set traps at the entrance. Everything Jin Woo did was quick, sure, and practical. No wasted motion, no hesitation. Jin Woo, Hyojin said finally. Why help us? You could survive alone. Jin Woo looked at the fire, thinking. Where I come from, we have a saying. No one survives alone. Besides, I need your ship to get off this rock when help comes. Our ship is broken, Byung-soo. Jin Woo sat by the cave entrance, eyes watching the darkness outside. The fire burned low behind them, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The Valerians slept in a pile near the fire, trying to stay warm. At midnight, something howled far away. Then another howl answered it, then another. So-min woke up. What was that? Pack hunters, Jin Woo said without turning around. They're talking to each other, planning. Planning what? How to get inside this cave. So-min felt cold that had nothing to do with the temperature. Can they get in? Jin Woo smiled in the dark. They can try. Just before dawn, they did try. Captain Hyojin woke to the sound of scraping claws. Something big was trying to squeeze. Through the cave entrance, in the dim firelight, he saw yellow eyes glowing. Jin Woo, he whispered urgently. I see them, Jin Woo said calmly. They moved to the entrance with their weapon ready. Don't make any noise, they can't fit through the opening, but they're stubborn. The creature outside snarled and pushed harder. Its massive head stuck through the entrance. Drool fell from teeth as long as fingers. Jin Woo waited. When the creature pushed in far enough, Jin Woo struck. One quick thrust with their knife into the creature's eye. It screamed and pulled back, bleeding. There will be more, Jin Woo said. They always come in groups. And they did. For 2 hours, different creatures tried to get into the cave. Each time, Jin Woo was ready. Each time, the creatures left hurt or dead. When morning came, Jin Woo dragged the dead creatures away from the cave. Good meat, they explained. We'll need food. The Valerians watched in wonder as Jin Woo butchered the animals. Their movements were quick and sure, like they had done this 1,000 times. Where did you learn to do all this? Asked Byung-soo. Earth, Jin Woo said. My home planet. It's not as bad as this place, but it's still dangerous. We learned early. You eat what you kill or you starve. Dr. Yumi, the ship's scientist, studied Jin Woo with fascination. Your body is adapted for survival. Look at your muscles, your reflexes. Even your skin is thicker than ours. Jin Woo looked down at their scarred hands. Not adapted, trained. Every human grows up fighting something. Whether animals, other humans. We get strong or we die. But you enjoy it, Yumi said. It wasn't a question. Jin Woo stopped cutting and looked at her. Enjoy? No, but I'm good at it. And being good at something means you stay alive. On the second day, Jin Woo showed them how to survive on Crexus 7. Water first, Jin Woo said, leading them deeper into the cave. They followed a narrow tunnel that opened into a smaller chamber. Water dripped from the ceiling into a small pool. It looks dirty, said Tactical Officer Dong-ho, who had been skeptical of Jin Woo from the start. It's filtered through rock for miles, Jin Woo explained. Cleaner than most water in the galaxy. They cupped some water and drank it without. Hesitation. The Valerians watched nervously. Then Somin drank too. It tastes fine, she said, surprised. Jin Wu taught them to recognize edible plants that grew near the cave. They showed them which insects could be eaten and which would kill them. They demonstrated how to start a fire without technology. Your tools won't work here, Jin Wu said, pointing to Byom-su's device that kept sparking. The planet's magnetism messes with electronics. You need to think like your ancestors did, before technology. But the Valerians struggled with everything. Dong-ho tried to hunt a small animal, Jin Wu pointed out. The creature ran circles around the clumsy alien before escaping. Dong-ho ended up falling face first into a thorn bush. Yumi attempted to gather edible roots. She pulled up a handful of poison plants that would have killed her if Jin Wu hadn't stopped her in time. Even simple tasks were hard. Starting a fire took 4 Valerians working together for an hour. Jin Wu could do it in 30 seconds. Your people are soft, Jin Wu observed, but not meanly. Peaceful, that's not a bad thing. But it doesn't help here. We're not built for this, Yo-jin said sadly. We think and plan. We build machines to do the fighting for us. Machines break, Jin Wu said. Bodies adapt. On the 3rd day, Jin Wu demonstrated just how much a human body could adapt. They were exploring around the cave when they found tracks. Fresh ones. Something big had passed this way recently. What made these? Somin asked. Jin Wu studied. The marks. Stone rhino, big herbivore, good meat if you can kill it. Can we avoid it? Dong-ho asked hopefully. We could, but we're running low on food. And winter here lasts 8 months. We need to stock up. The Valerians exchanged worried looks. You want to hunt something that big? Jin Wu grinned, the same hunter's smile from before. Want to? No. Need to? Yes. Big difference. They found the stone rhino at a watering hole 3 hours away. It was massive, twice the size of Jin Wu, with armor plating that looked like actual stone. Its tusks could punch through metal. How do we kill something like that? Yumi whispered. Jin Wu studied the creature for long minutes. Then they pointed to a cliff above the watering hole. We don't fight it. We outsmart it. The plan was simple, but dangerous. Jin Wu would anger the creature and get it to charge. The Valerians would trigger a rock slide from above, stunning it. Then Jin Wu would finish it off. What if it doesn't work? Byom-su asked. Then I run very fast, Jin Wu said. Dong-ho shook his head. This is suicide. You can't outrun something that big. Watch me, Jin Wu said. The plan went perfectly until it didn't. Jin Wu threw rocks at the stone rhino and shouted insults. The creature roared and charged. The Valerians pushed boulders off the cliff. The rocks crashed down and missed. The stone rhino kept charging straight at Jin Wu. What happened next amazed the Valerians. Jin Wu didn't run. Instead, they waited until the last second, then threw themselves to the side. The stone rhino couldn't turn quickly. It smashed into the cliff face. Before it could recover, Jin Wu jumped onto its back. They drove their knife into a gap in the armor right where the spine met the skull. One precise strike. The stone rhino collapsed. Jin Wu rolled off, breathing, hard but unhurt. Incredible, Yumi breathed. You killed something 10 times your size. Physics, Jin Wu said simply. Hit the right spot with enough force. Size doesn't matter. That night, they feasted on stone rhino meat. For the first time, since the crash, the Valerians felt full. Around the fire, they talked. Tell us about Earth, Yumi asked. Your homeworld. Jin Wu poked the fire with a stick. Blue oceans, green forests, deserts and ice caps and mountains so tall they touched the clouds. Beautiful, but deadly. How is it deadly? Somin asked. Storms. That can level cities, earthquakes that split the ground, volcanoes that bury entire regions in ash. Then there are the animals, predators that hunt humans for sport, and the diseases. It sounds terrible, Dong-ho said. It's home, Jin Wu replied, and it made us what we are. Every challenge we faced made us stronger. Every danger we survived taught us something new. Hyojin asked, "Is that why humans are such good fighters? Because your world tried to kill you?" Jinwoo smiled. "Our world didn't try to kill us. It just didn't care if we lived or died, so we learned to care about ourselves. We learned to fight back." Beomsu leaned forward. "What about now? Are you still fighting your own planet?" "We tamed most of it," Jinwoo said. "Made cities where storms couldn't reach us. Made farms where nothing would starve. Made medicines that could cure diseases." "So you won?" Jinwoo was quiet for a moment. "We learned to work with it instead of against it. That's the human way. Adapt or overcome. Usually both." Yumi nodded slowly. "And now you help others adapt too." "Sometimes," Jinwoo agreed. On the fourth day, Jinwoo made a decision. "Your ship," they said to Hyojin. "We should go look at it." "Is it safe to travel there?" the captain asked. "No, but staying here forever isn't safe either. And I saw something interesting in your crash site." They made the journey carefully. Jinwoo scouted ahead while the Valerians followed the path they marked. It took most of the day. The stellar dawn looked worse than they remembered. The hull was cracked open like an egg. One wing was completely gone. Smoke still rose from the engine section. "It's completely destroyed," Beomsu said sadly. "The frame is good," Jinwoo said, walking around the wreck. "And your engines? I've seen this design before. Human engineering, modified for your people." "Yes," Hyojin confirmed. "We bought them from a human shipyard. They were supposed to be more reliable than our own designs." Jinwoo nodded. "They are, which means I might be able to fix them." "You?" Dong-ho laughed. "You know alien engine technology?" "Human technology," Jinwoo corrected. "And yes, I know it well. I was an engineer before I became a mercenary." This was news to the Valerians. They had assumed Jinwoo was just a soldier. "Why didn't you tell us before?" Yumi asked. Jinwoo shrugged. "You didn't ask. Besides, surviving comes first. Flying comes second." They spent the rest of the day gathering parts from the wreck. Jinwoo showed them what was salvageable and what was hopeless. They carried everything useful back to the cave. Over the next few days, Jinwoo began working on the parts. They had no proper tools, so they made their own from scrap metal. Their hands moved with the same sure confidence they showed when fighting. "This is impossible," Beomsu said, watching Jinwoo reshape metal with a crude hammer. "You can't rebuild engines with rocks and sticks." "Not rebuild," Jinwoo said. "Repair. There's a difference." Slowly, impossibly, engines began. Jinwoo had been watching them through a crack in the rocks. 40 soldiers in dark armor moving like they owned the planet. Their leader wore extra decorations, probably an officer. "They're good," Jinwoo admitted. "Trained. But they don't know this world." The Valerians huddled in the back of the cave. So-min clutched her injured leg, still weak from the crash. Beomsu held the parts they had salvaged from their ship. "What do we do?" Hyojin whispered. "We disappear," Jinwoo said. "There's another way out of this cave, but we'll have to leave most of our supplies." "Where can we go? They'll follow us." Jinwoo's eyes gleamed with a dangerous idea. "The glass desert. No one crosses that in summer. Too hot. Too deadly. Then how can we cross it? Because I'm not no one." They moved quickly and quietly. Jinwoo led them through a narrow tunnel at the back of the cave. It was so tight the Valerians had to crawl. Their breathing echoed off the walls. Behind them they heard shouts. The Corvins had found the cave. "Move faster," Jinwoo hissed. The tunnel ended at a cliff face, 20 feet above the ground. Jinwoo tied their rope to a rock and dropped it down. "I can't climb," So-min said, looking at her hurt leg. Without a word, Jinwoo tied the rope around her waist. "I'll lower you." To the others they said, "Follow the dried riverbed east, find somewhere to hide, I'll catch up." "You're going with us," Dong-ho protested. "We need you." "I need to slow them down first." Jinwoo checked their weapon. "Give me 10 minutes." The Valyrians climbed down the rope. Jinwoo waited until they were gone. Then they went back into the tunnel. They didn't wait long. 5 Corvin soldiers came through the tunnel, moving carefully. Jinwoo let them get halfway through the narrow space. Then they triggered the trap they had set up days ago. Rocks came down. The tunnel collapsed. 3 soldiers were crushed. The other 2 were trapped between fallen stones. Jinwoo didn't wait to see more. They rappelled down the cliff and ran after the others. "Is it done?" Hyojin asked when Jinwoo caught up. "It bought us time, but they'll find another way around. We need to keep moving." They walked for hours. The ground changed from red rocks to white sand. The air grew hotter. In the distance, strange towers of glass rose from the desert floor. "The glass desert," Yumi said with awe and fear. Jinwoo nodded. "Formed by ancient nuclear wars. The sand melted and formed these structures. In summer, the temperature reaches 200 degrees. That will kill us," Beomsu said. "Not if we're smart about it." Jinwoo pointed to the glass towers. "See how they're twisted? There are tunnels inside. Natural cooling vents. We can travel through them." They reached the first tower as the suns reached their highest point. The heat was already unbearable. The Valyrians' thin clothes were soaked with sweat. Jinwoo found an opening in the tower. Inside, the temperature dropped immediately. Cool air flowed through strange crystalline passages. "How did you know about this?" Somin asked. "I scouted this area in my first week," Jinwoo explained. "This planet tried to kill me. I learned its secrets." They moved through the glass tunnels. The passages were beautiful, walls of colored crystal that caught and split the light. But they were also confusing. Many paths led nowhere. Some had traps. Jinwoo moved with confidence, remembering the way. The Valyrians followed, grateful for the cool air. They had been walking for an hour when Jinwoo held up a hand. Everyone stopped. "What is it?" Hyojin whispered. Jinwoo tilted their head, listening. Then they swore in a language the others didn't understand. "They're here, the Corvins. They followed us into the desert." "That's impossible. You said the heat would kill anyone." "They must have environmental suits. Better technology than I thought." Heavy footsteps echoed through the tunnels, getting closer. "Can we hide?" Yumi asked. Jinwoo shook their head. "This tunnel is a dead end ahead. Only one way out. The way we came." The footsteps grew louder. Voices now shouting orders in the Corvin language. "Then we fight," Dongho said, drawing his small sidearm. Jinwoo looked at the Valyrians' tiny weapon. "That won't even scratch their armor." "Then what do we do?" Jinwoo studied the walls around them. The crystalline structure, the way light moved through it, the small cracks where stress had formed over centuries. A slow smile spread across their face. "We changed the rules of the game." Jinwoo pulled out a sonic grenade, a small explosive they had taken from the Corvin soldiers. They studied the glass walls carefully, looking for the right spot. "Cover your ears," they said, "and close your eyes." They stuck the grenade to a specific point on the wall. The sonic pulse went off. The sound was terrible, a scream that cut through crystal like a knife. Cracks appeared in the walls, spread, multiplied. "Run," Jinwoo shouted. They grabbed Somin, threw her over their shoulder and ran. The others followed. Behind them, the glass desert began to sing. The sonic pulse traveled through the crystalline structure. Harmonic frequencies built up. The tower began to vibrate, resonate, and shatter. They burst out of the tower just as it collapsed. Glass fragments rained down like deadly snow. They heard screams from inside. The Corvin soldiers caught in the avalanche. "The whole structure is coming down." Beomsu pointed at other towers. The resonance was spreading. One by one, the crystal spires cracked and fell. This way, Jinwoo led them away from the collapsing towers, but they weren't safe yet. More Corvin soldiers appeared from another tower. These ones had made it out in time. Among them was a figure different from the others, taller, wearing more elaborate armor. When they removed their helmet, they revealed a scarred face with dark eyes full of hate. "General Wusung," Hyojin breathed. "The Corvin war leader himself." General Wusung stepped forward. When they spoke, a translator device made their words clear. I applaud your tactics, human. But this ends now. You have something that belongs to us. It belongs to them, Jinwoo said, nodding to the Valerians. The Valerian researchers stole Corvan technology. They simply reverse-engineered our own star drive prototype. That's not true, Hyojin protested. We developed it ourselves. Dambi. General smiled coldly. Truth is written by the victors, and we will be victorious. They signaled their soldiers. 20 armed Corvans surrounded the small group. Surrender now and we will give you a quick death. Jinwoo looked around. They were outnumbered 20-1. In an open desert, with innocent civilians to protect. But instead of looking worried, Jinwoo laughed. You know what your problem is, General? You think in straight lines, attack, defend, win, lose, and you think differently. I think like the desert thinks, like this whole planet thinks. Jinwoo gestured to the collapsing towers around them. I work with the chaos. I make it my ally. The general raised his weapon. Enough philosophy. Surrender. No. What happened next became legend. Jinwoo didn't attack the soldiers. Instead, they ran directly at the largest pile of falling crystal. The Corvans, confused, watched them go. Jinwoo leaped over a crystal sharp, grabbed a falling shard the size of a spear, spun in midair, and hurled it with all their strength. The shard struck another tower exactly where Jinwoo aimed. The tower, already weakened by the harmonic vibrations, exploded outward. Giant pieces of glass flew in all directions. Now the Corvans ran. But they had nowhere to go. The desert was trying to kill everyone equally. The caves! Jinwoo shouted to the Valerians. Underground caves at the desert's edge. They ran through the chaos. Glass fell like rain. The ground cracked from the impact of falling towers. Behind them, Corvan soldiers screamed as they were buried under crystal avalanches. General Woo-sung followed them, his armor protecting him from smaller fragments. He raised his weapon, aiming at Jinwoo's back. Jinwoo turned, somehow sensing the danger. They grabbed a piece of glass and threw it like a knife. It struck the general's weapon, knocking it from his hands. For a moment, the two stared at each other across the chaos, warrior to warrior. Then a massive tower fell between them, cutting off pursuit. The Valerians reached the caves just as the worst of the collapse ended. They stumbled inside, bruised and bleeding, but alive. Outside, the glass desert had changed. Where once stood tall spires, now there was only rubble. Dust clouds blocked out the suns. Did we kill them all? So-min asked. Jinwoo checked their weapon. Some survived, including the general, but this bought us time. They were in a natural cave system at the edge of the desert. Cool air flowed from deeper passages. Water dripped somewhere in the darkness. There are more survivors, Yumi said suddenly. From our ship. I'm picking up faint life signs. She held up a scanner that had somehow survived everything. The screen showed weak signals coming from the direction of their original crash site. If we can reach them, Hyojin said. We can, Jinwoo said. But not yet. First, we rest. We eat. We plan. That night around a small fire they made their plans. The crash site is 2 days' travel, Beomsu said, through Corvan patrols. And rescue ships can't land while the enemy is here, Dongho added. So we clear them out, Jinwoo said simply. Clear them out? There are still 30 soldiers. Led by a general who now knows what I can do. Jinwoo smiled. Good. I like a challenge. Yumi looked at scans of their surroundings. There's something else. These caves connect to a larger tunnel system. It runs all the way to the volcanic region. Active volcanoes? Jinwoo asked. Very active. Due to erupt soon. Dongho shook his head. We can't go near those. The heat, the toxic gases. We're not going. The volcanic region burned under the red suns. Hot gas bubbled from cracks in the ground. Rivers of lava flowed like orange blood between black rocks. Jinwoo led the group carefully along ancient paths. They wore masks made from scraps of the Corvan's environmental suits. The toxic air still burned their eyes. The survivors should be just ahead, Yumi said, checking her scanner. They found them in a cave halfway up a dead volcano. 3 Valerians from the research team, weak and hurt but alive. Among them was Captain Tae-jun, the Stellar Dawn security chief. "Hyo-jin," Tae-jun gasped. "We thought you were dead." "Almost were," Hyo-jin replied. He helped his injured friend stand. "This is Jinwoo. They saved us." Tae-jun looked at the scarred human with wonder. "You're the one who survived here for 3 weeks?" "Still surviving," Jinwoo said. They studied the cave entrance. "We need to move. The Corvins will find this place soon." "I found something important," Tae-jun said. He held up a data cube. "The real star drive plans. I hid them before the crash." "Then we definitely need to move," Hyo-jin said. As if his words summoned them, explosions rocked the cave entrance. Corvin soldiers rappelled down from above. General Woo-sung stood on a ledge, his armor gleaming. "End of the path, human," the general called. "Return what you stole and perhaps some of your alien friends will live." Jinwoo stepped forward, weapon ready. "I didn't steal anything, but you can come and take it." The general jumped down, landing. Hard on the volcanic rock, his enhanced armor absorbed the impact easily. "I challenged you once, human. You ran like a coward." Jinwoo smiled coldly. "I didn't run. I retreated. There's a difference." "Show me." The battle began. General Woo-sung was bigger than Jinwoo, stronger. His armor could stop bullets. His enhanced muscles could punch through stone. But Jinwoo was faster and smarter. The general swung his massive fist. Jinwoo ducked and stabbed, upward with their knife. The blade scraped off armor but found a joint at the elbow. The general's arm sparked, his enhancement damaged. "Impossible," Woo-sung snarled. "You're just human." "Just human?" Jinwoo laughed, dodging another attack. "You clearly don't know what that means." They fought across the hot volcanic rocks. Each time the general tried to use his superior strength, Jinwoo used his own momentum against him. When the general advanced, Jinwoo gave ground, toward a specific spot. Finally, Jinwoo was backed against a crack in the ground. Orange lava glowed below. "Nowhere to run now," the general said. He raised both fists for a crushing blow. Jinwoo waited until the last second. Then they dove to the side. The general's mighty punch hit the ground. The volcanic rock, already weakened by heat, cracked wide open. Lava spurted up. The general screamed as molten rock splashed across his armor. His enhancements shorted out. He fell to his knees. "The planet," Jinwoo said, standing over him. "It's not your enemy if you learn to work with it." But they weren't, watching the sky. More Corvin ships descended through the smoke. Drop pods slammed into the ground. 50 more soldiers emerged. "Too many," Dong-ho said hopelessly. Jinwoo looked up at the volcanic peak above them. Heat shimmers rose from the crater. Deep rumbles shook the ground. "No," they said quietly. "Just enough." They pulled out a device they had built from salvaged parts. A seismic resonator, something they had been working on during their quiet moments. "What is that?" Yumi asked. "Insurance policy." Jinwoo activated the device. "Everyone get to the ship, now." "What ship?" Byum-su protested. Jinwoo pointed. On the next ridge, barely visible through the smoke, sat Jinwoo's battered craft, the one that had crashed 3 weeks ago. "You fixed it?" Hyo-jin stared. "Partially. It'll fly once, maybe twice if we're lucky." The ground began to shake more, violently. The device was working, sending pulses deep into the volcano's core. "You're triggering an eruption," Tae-jun said in amazement. "The planet was ready," Jinwoo said. "I just gave it a push." Corvin soldiers advanced through the smoke. Their general was down, but they still had orders. "Go!" Jinwoo shouted. "I'll hold them here." "We're not leaving you," So-min said firmly. "You have to. The data cube must survive. That technology could change the galaxy." Captain Hyo-jin made the hardest decision of his life. "Jinwoo is right. Move, everyone!" The Valerians ran toward the ship. Behind them, Jinwoo faced 40 Corvin soldiers alone. But they weren't really alone. The volcano rumbled. Cracks appeared in the ground. Steam shot into the air. And Jinwoo smiled. This was their world now. They understood every crack in the rock, every shift in the wind. They had become part of Crexus 7's deadly ecosystem. The Corvins advanced. Jinwoo retreated slowly, leading them onto unstable ground. When the eruption began, it was beautiful and terrible. Lava shot into the sky, like angry red lightning. The ground split open in a dozen places. Toxic gases billowed up in clouds that blocked out the suns. The Corvin soldiers panicked. Their suits could handle some heat, but not this. Not the full fury of a planet. Jinwoo moved through the chaos, like a ghost. They knew which rocks would hold their weight, which patches of air were safe to breathe, which path led to safety. One by one, the Quran soldiers fell. Not to Jinwoo's weapons, but to the planet itself. At the ship, the Valerians watched in awe and terror. Look, Somin pointed. Through the volcanic smoke, a figure limped toward them, burned, bleeding, but alive. Jinwoo collapsed at the ship's ramp. Hyojin and Dongho carried them aboard. The controls, Byung-soo said. How do we fly this thing? Jinwoo struggled to stand. Blood ran from cuts on their face. I'll do it. They stumbled to the pilot's seat. Their hands moved over familiar controls. The engines, patched together with alien technology and human stubbornness, roared to life. The ship lifted off just as the main eruption began. Crexus 7's sky turned red. Lava fountains reached toward space. The very air seemed to burn. Behind them, Corvin ships tried to escape. Some made it, most didn't. In space, they met the rescue fleet. Valerian ships responding to their original distress signal. Admiral Jun Seo's face appeared on screen. Captain Hyojin, we thought you were dead. We almost were, Hyojin replied. Many times. The Admiral's eyes found Jinwoo, still slumped, in the pilot's chair. Is this the human who saved you? Yes. This is Jinwoo. We have heard stories. What you did down there, it will be remembered. Later on the flagship, they held a meeting. The star drive technology, Admiral Junseo said. It really works? Captain Tae-jun handed over the data cube. Better than we hoped. Faster, more efficient, safer than anything before. And the Corvins? Won't be bothering us for a while, Jinwoo said from the medical bed. Their fleet needs repairs. Dr. Yumi presented her findings. I've studied human physiology. Admiral, this species, they don't just survive impossible conditions. They thrive in them. What does that mean for us? Yumi smiled. It means we should be very glad they're our allies. Admiral Junseo turned to Jinwoo. The Valerian Council offers you anything you desire. Citizenship, a ship, command of a fleet. Jinwoo shook their head. Just a working ship and a clean start on the next planet. That's all? I'm a survivor, Admiral, not a politician or a general. I just do what I must to live another day. Hyojin stepped forward. Then you'll need this. He held out a communicator, for when you need friends, or when friends need you. Jinwoo accepted the device. For the first time in weeks, they truly smiled. Thank you. 6 months later, the story spread through the galaxy. The miracle of Crexus 7 became legend. How one human had turned a death world against an invasion force. How human determination had triumphed over superior technology. Training academies studied Jinwoo's tactics. Scientists researched human biology. Diplomats rewrote their treaties. And somewhere in the outer rim, Jinwoo sat in a new ship, reading job offers from a dozen species. All of them wanted the same thing, a human warrior on their side, because the galaxy had learned something important. Humans weren't just tough, they weren't just smart. Humans were what happened when evolution said survive anything. And they did. From their experience on Crexus 7, a new phrase entered galactic common speech. When the impossible is possible, call a human. The death world had tried to kill them all. Instead, it had created a legend. And legends, unlike machines, only grew stronger with time. Jinwoo looked at the stars through their ship's window. Somewhere out there was another challenge, another impossible situation, another chance to show the galaxy what human really meant. They smiled and set course for the unknown. After all, they were just getting started. The end.